Sometimes controlling block formatting context can be difficult if the content is hard to control. Let's take a look at an example of using a Clearfix. You'll probably come across this often in your development days, but a Clearfix is a way to force a container to clear its children instead of having to control how that is done manually. In this case, let's try floating these three boxes here to the left to see what happens. In my HTML, I have a container with the three boxes inside and a footer below. My CSS simply defines background colors for the container and the boxes. We can't see the background for the container because the boxes are hiding it. Let's float our boxes left. Refreshing the page shows us a similar situation that we encountered when using block formatting context, where our boxes are now floated to the left and our content in our footer is actually wrapping up above to go in line with our content. Now, one thing we can do is we can use overflow hidden on the container to force this to be fixed. Let's just see what that looks like now. I've added overflow hidden to the container. This will force the container to recalculate its sizing. Here we can see it's filled itself out, we can see the green background, and our footer is displaying properly. Now this works well, but with overflow hidden, there's a side effect of content being hidden if we set a height. If I say that the height of my container is 10 pixels, we're going to cut off some of our content, and this is usually unintended behavior. So let's change this up and use a Clearfix. I'll remove the height and overflow and add the Clearfix to our container. We'll be taking advantage of the after pseudo selector and some parts of block formatting context to make this work. I'll select my container and use the after pseudo selector to create an element after this current container. I'll set its content to an empty string so that it will display. I'll set its display to table, and I'll tell it to clear both. Clear both will clear both left and right floats. This will force the container to clear its own children. Let's see what this looks like. Here we can see, without overflow hidden on our container, we get the same behavior. So by adding the after pseudo selector to our container object, setting its content to empty, forcing it to be a display table, and clearing all floats, this will force the element to contain its own children and allow any subsequent elements to take that into account.